Bust. Our payment to Iran was a ransom, but how is Iran using that money today? Former Obama National Security Council staff member Jillian Turner. Come on in, Jillian. You're next. You've got details. And I guess this is what happens when your dad is a linebacker for the Steelers. Come on.
They coincided with the American hostages being released to the day.
It's been interesting to watch this story surface. Some of you may recall, we announced these payments in January, many months ago. There wasn't a secret. We announced them to all of you. Josh did a briefing on them. This wasn't some nefarious deal. We do not pay ransom for hostages. The reason cash was exchanged is because we don't have a banking relationship with Iran.
But is there more to that than the president indicates? For more on this, we bring in former White House Security Council staff member under President Bush and Obama, Fox News contributor Jillian Turner. Jillian, what was your take on the president's definition of the $400 million in francs that was delivered?
So my concern with this payment and with the settlement in general is broader. I'm really concerned not so much that this is a ransom payment, but that this was money used to sweeten the broader nuclear deal pot. It was another concession, the United States, that really showed our weak hand in the negotiation.
When the president got behind the microphone in January 19th, I think it was, he could say, we're going to be sending the first payment of $400 million in francs, in Swiss francs. It's going to be arriving, and then the rest is going to be, the balance is going to come at such and such date. That would have wiped out any problem. You might want to say, too, it's going to be coming at night just if there was really no nefarious acts. However, one of the hostages sat on the tarmac, he thought for 20 minutes, but for hours, waiting for this other plane with our money to arrive. Listen to Saeed Abedin.
They told us we were going to be there for 20 minutes, but it took like hours and hours. We slept at the airport, and when I asked them why you don't let us go, because the plane was there, pilot was there, everyone was ready that we leave the country, they said we are waiting for another plane, and until that plane doesn't come, we never let you go.
That plane was the plane with the money. I've seen those movies that the president talked about, those thriller movies. That usually happens that way.
Right, exactly. And you know what? By the way, even before all of this happened, the $400 million payment, the United States already got the short end of the deal with the prisoner swap, right? Iran released 4 American hostages, people they had imprisoned illegally in their country. In exchange, we released 7 Iranians who were being held legally here in the United States.
Who broke the law?
Exactly. Dropped charges against 14 others. So 4 people in exchange for 21 Americans, not even in my book.
I watched the whole thing yesterday, and the president said, by the way, all you people, this sounded like the Obamacare press conference, that thought the sky was falling when we signed this deal. Look, it's in place and it's working. Look, listen.
It's now been well over a year since the agreement with Iran to stop its nuclear program was signed. And by all accounts, it has worked exactly the way we said it was going to work.
Right. The terror has increased to the point where they have now gotten new influence in Iraq, in Syria. They're now welcomed into the World Trade, not a World Trade Organization, but they're now allowed to trade with Western nations. Their economy is beginning to turn around, and in 10 years, they don't have to stop their nuclear program. They can do it.
Carte blanche, right? So you make it through these first 10 years, you abide by the letter of the Iran nuclear deal law, but continue to flagrantly violate it in spirit, as the Ayatollah and Rouhani has been doing ever since we signed it a year ago.
Here's what Ash Carter, the Secretary of Defense, told Brett Baer yesterday when asked, has Iran's behavior changed since the deal was signed? They continue to do things that are dangerous. That's why we need to protect ourselves. That's why we need missile defense. That's why we need aircraft carriers and other ships in the Gulf. That's why we do all these things. Nothing has changed to make Americans feel more secure, and the clock is ticking on a nuclear program they say is frozen.
And we haven't made the progress that President Obama had anticipated we would when it comes to normalizing the relationship, when it comes to diplomatic relations, right? The whole goal of this was to open up a broader dialogue with that country to try and have some kind of a reconciliation, and we're really not headed in that direction today any more than we were a year ago, any more than we were 2 years ago.
And by the way, if you're keeping score at home, they still hate us, and they always like to chant "Death to America," which doesn't turn me on. I don't know about you. Thanks, Jillian.
Thanks, Brian.
All right, coming up straight ahead.